Right, so the webinar is now live and I'm going to go ahead and go live on Facebook.
Wonderful. Excellent. Hi, everyone. This is Sarah Weaver, and I am so excited to bring you Jennifer Beatles. It's fun. Jennifer and I have a lot of conversations about agents and their businesses and investors. And today we really want to focus on you real estate agents. So today we're going to go through how to add 100 investors to your database. And this is not like one of those catchy webinar titles. We really believe that this is possible, don't we, Jennifer?
Oh, absolutely. And 100
And
investors into your database in the next 30 days.
excellent. I love it. I love a measurable deadline for our agents, especially those high Ds that are determined to get shit done. And so I'm really excited about this. Jennifer, go ahead and introduce yourself as kind of give the agents an idea. I think a lot of people know you as the woman who does out of state buy and hold investing. And so I'm excited to kind of shed this light on the side of you that I know pretty intimately, which is this passionate person that has built an incredible real estate business. And now we're wearing hats of helping real estate agents. And so I think that that's the shift that I'm excited to do today as we share how to add 100 investors to your database in the next 30 days.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Sarah had mentioned, I'm kind of been known for the buy and hold investor, BRRRR strategy, build to rent. We talk a lot about rental property investing and the different strategies to doing that. And a big focus for this year is actually to serve the agent community. And so just a little bit of background, I actually was an investor first. So I got started investing in real estate in 2007. And I was doing everything from flipping to building houses to buying rental properties. And I decided to get my real estate agent license in 2009. And the whole purpose behind getting my license was that I could actually represent myself and get into properties and get MLS access. And so I actually didn't have a goal of selling real estate. But what I found is that because I was investing and I now had this real estate license, there were so many investors that were reaching out to me because I was really the only agent or one of a few maybe agents in the area that were working with investors. And so I got my real estate license in 2009. I sold 6 houses in about 6 months and fell in love with the process. I really enjoyed helping people build their own portfolio and also having the opportunity to learn and earn, right? So I was able to build an income as an agent, add value to my clients, and then also learn from them. So I went full-time in 2010 and really have never looked back. Had so much fun helping other people build their portfolios. Again, we were doing a lot of fun projects, everything from building houses with developers and partnerships and flips and, again, helping others build their portfolio. So that's a little bit about my background. So I've been licensed since 2009. Now what we do is we run Agents Invest, where we have a referral program with investor savvy agents across the United States, where we connect them with real estate investors. And it's great for the agents because they get access to these high quality leads. And also the investors get access to markets and agents that are really hard to find. It's really hard to find agents that understand investment properties. And really, guys, that's why we're here today. Is just to add value to you guys, to give you some ideas that are maybe a little bit different than what you're hearing at your brokerage, or is different than just cold calling for listings or sitting open houses trying to find buyers. So something that, again, is really going to help you guys do more business. And also, hopefully, my goal for you is that you guys can actually start investing in real estate yourself as well.
Absolutely. And I think what I'm so excited about today's conversation is that we're really talking about value proposition. How can I position myself as a real estate agent, as the go-to agent who works with investors? And so I love this picture of an investor calls into a brokerage needing help on taking down a property that they found or gathering information on a plot of land. And they call the brokerage and they say, who can I talk to that works with investors? And how nice would it be if you're the go-to agent in your brokerage and it's a really easy conversation because you've educated yourself on market rents. What is rent rate? What can you buy this for? What can you renovate it for? I have connections with property managers, GCs, and all of that is possible even if you're listening on this call right now and you've never done it before. And I think that's what I get most excited about working with investors is it really is possible to build an incredible investor agent business starting from scratch.
Absolutely. Yep. And there's very few agents that are doing this,
Yeah.
right? So if you guys can learn some of the things that we're going to be sharing today, this week, and also at our Investor Agent Summit, the free event coming up in February, you guys, you're going to be armed with so many resources that you can add value not only to your existing database, but also the investors that are out there trying to build their portfolio and having a hard time finding an investor agent. So
Who gets it.
that'll be
I
you.
think that I hear that all the time, like that phrase, like, I just want an agent who gets it. And it's difficult. It's really hard. There's some really great agents out there. I know exactly who I would list my house with in a certain city, but that isn't the same agent that I would go to when I'm looking to pick up buy and hold properties. And so if you're looking to kind of position yourself, especially in the current market that we're living in today in 2021, then this really could be your ticket to not only finding more properties, but closing more deals.
Absolutely. All right, so should we get into how to add 100 plus investors to your database?
Absolutely.
Excellent. All right, so we shared with you guys some of the benefits of working with investors, but now the next question is probably going to be, well, how do you find these people, right? And so I'll tell you guys, so I actually have a full presentation, it's about 30 minutes, that goes more into a deep dive at our Investor Agent Summit on February 18th through the 20th. But today I want to do a deep dive just on one of the different ways, because you guys are going to take a lot of notes and you're going to have a lot of ideas just from this. And then you're definitely going to want to attend the event and hear the other 4 ways. And I imagine many of you guys are going to get more than 100 investors into your database in 30 days from all of the different ways. All right, so way number 1, and guys, this is totally free, completely free. Everything actually I'm going to share with you guys today is completely free, is you need to hang out where the investors hang out. So where do the investors hang out? Well, there's a couple of different places now. It's a little bit different with COVID-19 because, of course, we're not able to do in-person events. We're not able to do meetups. I had run a pretty big meetup in the Seattle area where we had anywhere from, sometimes 75 to 100 investors that were showing up every single month to our meetup groups. And it's a challenge because you can't do that right now, at least, in the time that we're in. So the next opportunity is to hang out in Facebook groups. So obviously we're already on Facebook, but my advice to you would be to search for local investor groups in your area. So let's say you're an agent from Nashville, Tennessee, and you type in the Facebook search bar, rental properties in Nashville or real estate investors in Nashville. I guarantee you that every single market has one of these groups. And it's free to join, right? So free to join that group and then start engaging in conversations and looking for ways to add value and have the people in that group think of you as the local expert. And so, yeah, it's a really easy way to find investors. We've actually had a lot of investors come into our world that had found us on Facebook just by, either Sarah or I or Dina or other of our team members that have been just answering questions and adding value to people. So you guys, Facebook is a phenomenal way to find buy and hold investors, and they're going to find you and they're going to reach out to you and they're going to want to work with you. So find those groups, enter into the group, add value, and you'll definitely get a lot of investors that way.
Absolutely. And 2 things I can add to that is some of the keywords that you should be using is investors, short-term rentals, rentals in Dallas, rental properties in Dallas, investors in Dallas. And then when you go into the group, you have to lead with value. There are so many agents that join and say like, "Oh, use me, use me, use me." And instead what I've really started to do is I've started to see some repeat questions. So for example, one of the questions that was constantly asked was, how do I know if it's a good property manager? Well, Jennifer and I put together a free PDF called 35 Questions to Ask Your Property Manager. And we used a lead page to make it a lead magnet. And that's something that I share often with people when they ask questions like that. And it not only establishes us as a credible source, but it's giving them an actual valuable piece of information that they're already asking for. And so it's a really easy sell the next time when I mention like, "Hey, is anyone interested in this opportunity?" They're like, "Oh yeah, that's the girl that gave me that cool property management sheet."
Absolutely. Yep. Number one keys, lead from value. Absolutely. All right, so number two is meetup groups. So again, in most markets, you guys, there are local meetup groups for real estate investors. Now, everything has been pivoted online, right? So go to meetup.com. Again, if you're an agent in Nashville, Tennessee, search for, real estate investment or real estate Nashville, join those groups. You can set up a free account on meetup.com. So again, completely free, join the groups, attend some of their meetings. And again, kind of same thing with this Facebook strategy, right? Is lead with value, find valuable resources that you can offer the group, and then they will want to come to you and you can add them to your database because they're going to want to work with you because of the value that you bring. All right, so number three, if you're watching this, you should have a free profile on a website called biggerpockets.com. So BiggerPockets is basically an online kind of social community for real estate investors. So you get kind of all types there. So there's rental property investors, there's flippers, there's builders, there's developers, but it's basically an entire community of real estate investors. And so everyone, you want to drop what you're doing after this call, sign up for a free account on biggerpockets.com. Make sure that you have your photo on there. Make sure that you lead with value about your experience as an agent in your profile. And then you can, BiggerPockets is a feature where you can follow threads in your area. Again, let's say you're an agent in Nashville, Tennessee, find the Nashville thread, follow it, and then you'll start to receive email inbox notifications when people are discussing your market. And so again, those resources that we had already mentioned, start sharing those in biggerpockets.com, start making connections. And really what you'll see start to happen is that you will be known as the local expert. And so when we see these questions all the time where they say, who knows an investor-friendly agent? Or who knows an investor-savvy agent? And people are going to start to tag you, right? And say, talk to Joe Smith in Nashville, Tennessee. He's your guy. And so actually that really started to work well for me. Being known in the, Seattle, north of Seattle area, people started to tag me and say, talk to Jennifer if you're looking to invest in these areas. And so I would get tons of investors reaching out or DMing me, asking to have the ability to work with me as an agent. So that's another really great resource for finding investors and kind of cultivating those relationships.
And one of our speakers at the summit, Avery, she does a really great job of essentially branding herself and her company so that it became really obvious that this is what she does. And it's really interesting. I'm sure that she'll share this, but that wasn't how she wanted to start. She didn't want to like pigeonhole herself on only doing short-term rentals until she realized, holy cow, there's so much money in this. And I love what I'm doing. I'm having a lot of fun. And so she's branded herself as the short term shop, which I just think is also a really catchy name. And it's everywhere. Like if you are looking to buy something in Smoky Mountains, the Emerald Coast, or the Gulf Shores area, you can't avoid seeing short term shop everywhere on Bigger Pockets, on Facebook groups. And so she's a really great example of taking the tips that you're giving right now. And she's created this incredible business by doing exactly what you're saying.
Absolutely. Yeah, branding is key. So of course, again, put your profile on there, but also, share that you're investor savvy and that you, know how to have these conversations and that you're an agent that gets it, right? All right, so number 4 is Quora. So Quora.com. There's a lot of conversations on there related to personal finance, just all kind of conversations. Kind of on a whim, I had signed up for an account and I just started answering some questions. And again, I started having a lot of people reaching out to me, a lot of people, asking to be on our newsletter and learn about out-of-state investing. So that's a phenomenal way that maybe you wouldn't have thought of to get investor leads as well. So start answering questions in Quora. There's all types of questions. Some people that are looking to even like relocate. So that's actually a really good resource also for potential sellers and buyer leads in addition to investors. So Quora is fantastic. All right, and then number 5 is Reddit. So again, if you're not already on Reddit, There's a lot of like threads and like, sub threads on different real estate markets. There's a lot of conversations happening there. And I'm not seeing a whole lot of agents participating. So again, a phenomenal opportunity for you guys to create a free account. And again, I mean, and we're not talking about spending hours. So if any of you are thinking, wow, this sounds like a lot of work, you guys think of the amount of work that you put into in cold calling, right? Or circle prospecting, or even, open houses, if you can do an open house right now. So really what we're talking about is maybe carving a couple of hours out of your week and logging into Facebook and just, using that time to kind of lead generate, right? Lead generate by answering questions and adding value and offering resources, and then go to the next one. Go to, Meetup, and, sometimes there's conversations in meetup.com that you can be answering questions about. Go to, Bigger Pockets and start answering questions. When I was working as an investor agent, I probably spent about, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes a week on Bigger Pockets. So again, we're not talking about hours here. So don't think that this is going to take you guys a lot of time. The other benefit to a lot of these resources, especially like Bigger Pockets, is, people will log in and they'll see threads from years ago. And so unlike Facebook, where, you make a comment and then, it's kind of like buried, maybe by even in a busy group by the end of the day, in areas like Bigger Pockets and Quora and Reddit, people log into these threads. And what's the first thing they do? Is they look at the prior threads and prior comments, right? So those things are what we call sticky, right? So you make a really valuable content and it's going to stick there for a very long time. It's interesting. I mean, even like comments that I made in Bigger Pockets years ago, people reach out to me on. And so it's really interesting that in these different networking platforms, that they have kind of a different level of stickiness. So I highly suggest that you're using multiple and not just focusing on one, because you're going to get better results from that.
And speaking of how much time this takes, like I'm a huge fan of leverage. And a lot of the agents that we work with, or that we even start working with at the beginning, maybe they don't have a huge investor database, but they've done really well with real estate and therefore they have a team. And so if your assistant is already handling a lot of your email and social media, then this should be a task that lands on their plate. They should be checking Bigger Pockets every week and making sure that your profile is staying up to date. You guys are adding your accomplishments that you're making every quarter. So if this last quarter you've worked with X amount of flippers or you've closed this much in volume, that needs to be in your profile. And that's a task that doesn't have to be put on your plate. I am a huge fan of delegating some of that to your assistant. And this is definitely something that they can be watching and monitoring. And then they can say, hey, there's this like high level question that I don't know the answer to. Can you hop in? Here's the URL. And how nice would that be that you're empowering your team to also stay educated and put your name out there in front of other investors?
Absolutely. And again, know that, investors are going to these resources to find you, right? This is what we use at Agents Invest to find agents when our investors are asking us about different markets. We go to all of these places and start saying, okay, well, who's the investor agent in this market? And then we initiate the conversation based on what we're seeing out there. So definitely, you guys, this is a very valuable resource. Again, this is one way out of the 5 that I'm giving at the Investor Agent Summit. Again, it's a completely free event, so we'd love to see you guys there. And I'm sure, I imagine some of you are thinking this all sounds really great. It sounds doable based on even just what we shared today to add 100 investors to your database. But I know a lot of agents are thinking right now, well, how do we find deals? So it's great to have 100 investors, but then how can I find the deals to sell them? And so this is a topic that is actually, this is the $1 million question for 2021, right? Is how to get inventory, how agents can find these deals to then sell to their buyers and sellers and move up buyers as well. And so we're going to cover that in depth at the Investor Agent Summit as well. So you guys don't want to miss out. We have a lot of different ways. I have so many different strategies for you guys. Again, I like the free approach. I don't like to pay for, a lot of marketing or lead generation. If I can do it, if it's efficient, and you can get it done in a short period of time and it's effective. So we're going to cover a lot of that that weekend.
And I can't think of a more cost efficient way than showing up where the investors are. It's really a no-brainer, and what we've told you today is exactly where the investors are. And so I really encourage you guys to take this challenge seriously and ask yourself, is adding 100 investors something that I really want? Because I know that it's possible. And in regards to finding deals, I think that that's often the kind of the pain point that these investors or these agents are saying is they're telling me, well, Sarah, I can find buyers, no problem, but how do I find deals? And they tell me, well, everything on the MLS just flies off the shelf. And that's where I get really excited because I think that we have a huge opportunity to show them how to find off market properties. Because Jennifer, go ahead and tell us what was we had an email from an agent, I think it was yesterday or this morning. And I mean, she just took what, 3 properties under contract and in a matter of days. And so we're really seeing these agents take investors under contract. And so if the kind of the buzz in your office is that, oh, inventory is low, it's better that we just kind of sit and wait. That's not what we're seeing. That's not what we're experiencing because that's not the world that we live in working with investor agents.
Yeah. Yeah. Another really fun call this morning. An agent called me. She said, Jennifer, I have 10 fourplexes that I'm going to send you guys on Monday. And she's been working this off market deal. So, no other agents know about this. So she now has the ability to sell 10 fourplexes to our investors and to probably get them sold in a couple hours on Monday. So anyways, yeah, so she's also one of our speakers. And so we'll definitely be talking about how she was able to find those at the event and kind of sharing this information with you guys.
Excellent. And so what's the best way for someone to sign up for the Investor Summit?
Yeah, so we'll have the link in the comments. So investoragentsummit.com.
Excellent. And this is February 18th, 19th, and 20th. We are bringing you nearly 20 expert real estate agents who are actively agents. And as I kind of said earlier, they get it. And so they're really pulling back the curtain to show you how they built businesses with multiple income streams. They have many projects going on at multiple times and things like this crazy market that we're living in. Obviously, we all feel it. I mean, it would be ignorant to say that they don't feel it at all, but I'm telling you that they're still doing a lot of business and sometimes even more so because everybody else is focusing on the problem and they really have already found the solutions.
And it's completely free, you guys. Completely free.
I love it. Excellent. Well, we'll put the link in the chat. If you guys have any questions about any of the resources that are mentioned, I'll be hanging out in Facebook. Again, tomorrow, I'm bringing another speaker from the Investor Agent Summit live tomorrow, and we'll be talking about how to create multiple income streams as a real estate agent. You don't want to miss it. So stay tuned and be sure to set reminders for the Agents Invest events coming up.
Amazing. All right, you guys have a great week.
Thanks, Jennifer.